What up, Jippers? LPlay's back once again, and today I'm finally going to be talking about my predictions for update 1.5 and what comes after this phase of Waking Titan when the big No Man's Sky update that we're all waiting for finally does drop. Now, there's one thing I want to say at the start of this video to make things very, very clear, is that I have got no inside information about what's coming. I'm just like all of you guys. This video is pure speculation. This is what I believe, what I expect. If I was going to bet money on it, this is what I think is going to be happening in the next update. And the second thing I want to say is, try not to get too hyped up about what I'm saying, because I am very hyped. I am so excited for this update, and I genuinely believe it's going to be freaking huge. I think this is going to be the monster, the update to end all updates. I've tried so hard in the past with all of the updates that have been teased and coming not to get too hyped, but this time that's gone. I'm overhyped. I'm too excited. Whatever happens at this point is probably not going to be as good as I think it's going to be, but what can I say? I genuinely believe this is going to be the one, guys. So, there are three key things that I think are definitely going to be coming in this update, and I'm going to go through them sort of 1, 2, 3, break them down. I'm going to keep it quite high level. I'm not going to go into like every little tiny bit of detail that I think is going to happen, but I'm going to break them down into the three key areas that I think are going to be a big focus for this update. Let's get the obvious one out of the way. The one that we all know for sure is definitely going to happen is multiplayer. The multiplayer aspects of the game are definitely going to be, if not the main focus of this update, certainly going to be a very big focus or a big part of this update. With 1.3 Atlas Rises, they added multiplayer for the first time. It's very, very basic, very limited. Honestly, it's a little bit rubbish, but it's cool that it's there. But they kind of told us with 1.3, like they said, they kind of acknowledged, yes, we know this is very crude. We know this is not fully realised multiplayer. This is not MMO. This is not what you think of when you think of multiplayer. But it was the foundation. And they made it very clear that it was the foundation for the future of what was coming for multiplayer in the game. So what do I actually think is going to come on the multiplayer front? I don't know for sure. If I'm going to try and, like, I really want to be right with this. Like, this is my genuine predictions for what I think is coming in the update. So I don't want to start going off into, like, super craziness. I don't want to get too carried away. I want to kind of keep it limited enough that I think I'm going to be right. Like, I think I'm going to nail this video, and in a couple of months' time, I'm going to be looking back and being like, I told you, Jippers. But yeah, I guess if I had to say, like, more about what the multiplayer is going to bring, I'm just going to say, I'm going to keep it quite basic. I'm going to say I think it's going to take it much closer to being MMO type gameplay, games as a service type stuff, like what you'd see in like Halo or not Halo, like Destiny or something like that. Not obviously not as good as that probably, but I feel like it's going to be much more. You're going to see player models. I think has to come. I think that's inevitable. We've got to get player models. I would like to see customizable player models, but that might be too much at this point. That might be a future update. It might take more work. But I definitely think we're going to have a character model, so that when we see somebody else on a planet, we see somebody else on a planet instead of the glowing orb. I think that's gotta come. I think that's gonna come. I think that has to come. If they're going to really do something impressive with the multiplayer, you have to have that. It just adds life to that multiplayer aspect. The other big thing is, I think the actual multiplayer-ness of it, the interaction between players on a single planet, has to be there this time. So whether they're doing that by like rolling out massive amounts of infrastructure to like support servers and stuff, could be why the update is taking so long if that's the focus. It's got to be there. So you've got to be able to see someone else on a planet, and if I shoot a grenade on a planet and it blows a hole in the ground, they've got to see that on their screen. We've got to actually be able to interact instead of just seeing the floating orb on a planet but not really being able to impact the same planet. So I kind of want it where me and a couple of friends can just meet up. That's the only kind of drawback, or that's the only kind of thing that I'm holding back on. I still think it's going to be limited in terms of numbers. Maybe 12 people at a time can get together and interact. I don't think it's going to be like fully MMO World of Warcraft style, like every player is just able to interact seamlessly. I think it's going to be limited to begin with, at least. But yeah, I think we're going to be able to see other players, interact with them, kind of walk around and explore a planet in real time and actually be on the same planet instead of the same instance of, well, like a separate instance of the same planet, kind of like it is now. So that's what I think is coming from multiplayer. Definitely think that's going to be, if not the main focus, a huge focus of this update. So the second area of my 3 points, my three sort of core themes that I think is going to be a big part of the update is the water and the oceans in No Man's Sky. This one I'm not as confident in, so if I was going to rank the three things that I'm going to be talking about, I think this is going to be like number 3, but this is the one that I think definitely needs to come. Like, I don't know why it isn't there. Oceans in the game at the moment are not as good as land in the game. They're much more bland, I guess. There's not as much life in them. And just getting around in the ocean is a complete... Like, it's a joke at this point. Like, you just can't explore the ocean properly. You need an ocean vehicle. So I think oceans are going to be revamped. I think they're going to be better. I think there's going to be more life in them. And I genuinely believe we have to get a submarine or some kind of exocraft that can actually let me travel in the water, even if it was a scuba suit or something, or one of those little, you know, like the things in Subnautica. Something that would actually let me explore an ocean without it being super tedious and slow and like drowning every 5 seconds has to happen. So I think that's going to be a big part of the update. I really hope it is. Yeah, oceans need work. So the third and final thing that I think is going to be what this update is all about, I kind of want to be careful here because this is where like too much hype comes. This is where I'm getting too excited. This is where I'm like trying to hold myself back. Don't want to let myself believe this is going to happen. But I just do. I genuinely think it's going to be a complete rebirth of the game, a complete overhaul, a complete E3 fully realised version of No Man's Sky. I think that's what they're going to aim to give us with this update. Now, there's a couple of reasons I think that. One of them is the Phoenix clue that we've been given as part of Waking Titan. Phoenix, you know, being reborn from the ashes, rebirth, like a second life, a second try at life or whatever, like completely reborn. That's what I think is going to happen. This is going to be the update, you know, No Man's Sky reborn, relaunched, completely overhauled. Now, the other reason that kind of has me thinking that even more is because of some of the stuff that I've seen Sean Murray tweeting and like sharing recently. And the main thing that's kind of got me, in my mind, I'm pretty certain this is what's going to happen, and that's because he shared an entire screenshot album of the Railroad Overhaul mod. Any of you guys that watch the channel will know what the Railroad's Overhaul mod is. It's essentially bringing No Man's Sky closer to that E3 vision with like way more variation, just grander scale of everything, like giant trees, giant mountains, giant ravines, oceans, plants, animals, way more variation, way more colours, way more different combinations of biomes, all that like amazing stuff that we want. That's what Railroad has set out to achieve with the Overhaul mod, and I know for sure, like, worst case, even if I'm completely wrong, we definitely know Sean Murray himself is a fan of that because he retweeted this entire album of shots from Railroad's Overhaul mod, and they look stunning, and the mod is stunning, and that version of the game is pretty stunning. So if No Man's Sky can build on that and, like, really bring that kind of overhaul to the game with this update, then I think that's going to be absolutely incredible, and I genuinely believe that's what they're going to be aiming for with this update. So that's my 3 key areas, my 3 main topics of like prediction for what I think is coming in the update. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me, if you think I'm talking complete nonsense. Have I just gone too far with the hype and got myself overexcited? Am I dreaming? Or am I just thinking about the completely wrong things? 1, am I right? 2, if I'm not right, what do you think is coming? And 3, regardless of what you think is or isn't coming, what do you want to see in the next update? If you could have it your way, what would you put into the game? I would love to see what you guys want in the game, and I would love to see if you guys agree with me or not. So yeah, that's your job for this video, is go leave a comment and tell me those things, and if we get enough people commenting and it's interesting stuff, then I might make another video with your guys' predictions for what you think is coming in update 1.5, and then when it does all drop, we can see who is right. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you found it entertaining and I haven't rambled on too much. Of course, I will catch you in another video very soon. Take care, guys, and peace.